everybody, it's Wendy, and as you can see, I have laid out here in front of me a bunch of things from the current August bargain bead box. So today we're going to make a necklace using pretty much everything has come from the bargain bead box, and I'll show you what didn't here real quickly. But the Coriana chain is not from the bargain bead box, but we are going to use 2 pieces of it, and I will measure this for you and tell you the sizes of it. So I have one piece that is approximately 16.5 inches, and I have another piece here that is approximately 12.5 inches. Okay, so 2 pieces of the gold Coriana chain. I have a small piece of a chain that I purchased from AC Moore when they were going out of business that I'm using for an extender. So there's that one. This Rollo chain is from the bargain bead box. These bicones are from the bargain bead box. These beads here are from the bargain bead box, as well as these links and these little fringe beads. This is my own lobster clasp. This is my own ring for the lobster clasp. These are my own jump rings over here, and this is my own head pin. Okay, but in the pendant, of course, is from the bargain bead box. So I think most everything here came from the bargain bead box, but you know, I had to add in a few of the extra findings. So if you are not familiar with the bargain bead box, and I do have some earring stuff here too, we'll go over that if we have time to do it. If you're not familiar with the bargain bead box, it is a monthly subscription service. You sign up, it's like $17.95 a month, I believe. It is shipped to your door for that price, and you get a bunch of great stuff. You get gemstone beads, you get just, I mean, tons. It's about a $70 value every month. I love bargain bead box. It's my favorite subscription service. When you sign up, they also give you a 30% off coupon to use in their sister store, Beadbox Bargains, which already has great prices, and then of course you get the 30% off. So it's really a good deal. And I have a $2 coupon I will link in the description box below if you're interested in signing up. Okay, so if you want to make this necklace, grab your tools, and let's go ahead and get started. This is not hard. It's a pretty simple one. So I am going to, it's a multi-layer necklace. We're going to use this chain up at the top, and I've actually cut this chain into lengths. Let me see how long these are. So I have 2 about 8-inch lengths of the chain that came in the bargain bead box, okay? Oh, and you are going to need some crimp beads. I haven't pulled those out yet, I'm sorry. I've got them right here, but you're going to need some crimp beads, and you're going to need some of the clamshell covers for your crimp beads. So let me grab those out. I'm sorry, I neglected to pull the clamshells and the crimp beads out. I don't know what I was thinking. But here we go. So some clamshells and some crimp beads. And I think we're good to go. All right. So we're going to make this, it's going to be kind of like a floating bead necklace. So I'm going to work on the bottom layer first. And my pendant is going to go in the very middle. So I really do, I think, want to go ahead and hang my pendant on here first so I can space the other things out the way that I want them. I'm going to grab my glasses because these days it seems like that I need them all the time. And I've got 2 pairs of chain nose pliers, and so what I'm going to do here is go ahead and put on the pendant with a jump ring. Okay. Now, this pendant, I did not notice this when I unboxed it, but it does seem like the gold is KC gold on here, and the rest of the golds in the box are yellow gold. But this is such a thin line around this that I really don't think it's going to show or make that much difference. I didn't even notice it when I unboxed it, though several other people did say that they had different golds in theirs. But yeah, I don't think it's going to make a difference on this because it really is a very, very thin line around this pendant. Okay, so I'm going to lay these out as close to even as I can get them on the edges, and we're going to do some floating beads up this one right here. So what I want to do is I want to grab a few crimp beads. I'm just going to lay them right here in the middle so I can have easy access to them. And I'm going to just crimp these down with a pair of flat nose pliers, chain nose pliers. I'm not going to try to crimp them with my crimping pliers because really it never turns out looking any better than it does when I do it this way. If you have smaller crimp beads than these, you may want to go ahead and you want to use the smallest crimp beads that you have for this because it's going to show on here. And so I actually am going to look and see if I have any smaller ones. I used these on some bracelets that I made yesterday that I'll be uploading here in a little bit. And I didn't need really small ones for the bracelet. So I'm just going to see if I do have any tinier ones. And it looks like I do. So let me switch these out. I'm sorry, guys, but I do want to use the smallest ones that I can because we're just going to do a floating bead, and we don't really want the crimp beads to be very big at all. They need to be tiny for this. So let me pick out a few of these little ones real quick, and we'll go ahead and get started. But I just thought of that last minute that, yeah, you want to use the tiniest crimp beads that you possibly can on this because they will show, and you don't want them to show any more than, you know, than they have to. So I'm just going to put a few of these out here. And everybody seemed to enjoy the fact that I'm doing these videos from the bargain bead box as I'm making stuff and videoing it instead of just showing finished jewelry. So I kind of enjoy doing it this way too. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying it as well. But I don't always have everything perfect because I'm creating as I'm doing it. You know, I try to lay out stuff and plan it out as much as I possibly can ahead of time, but sometimes I just don't think of something. So, all right, so we'll set these aside here, and hopefully that'll be enough, but if not, I'll pull out a couple more. Okay, so even these up, make sure they're even. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these crimp beads and put it on the Coriana chain. These are tiny, so and I hope they're not too small to go on this chain, but they may be. Let me try a different one. Sometimes if you try different ones, they work a little better. Well, you know what? These are going to be too tiny for the chain. You can try to cut your chain in a point, and sometimes that will help. Let me see if it does here. If not, I'll just use the bigger ones. It's really not a huge deal. I just wanted to use the smallest ones that I could, but these are super tiny and they're just not going to go on it. All right, well, plan C, guys, plan C. Let me set these back here, and we'll just go with these. These will work. They just will show a little more than the others would have. Okay, so put your crimp on. Now, you got to decide where you want your beads to be. So I want my first beads to be kind of close down here to the pendant. So I'm going to go right about here. And I am going to just crimp it flat, just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This is where you want to make sure they're even. So you want to even up your sides here. Pick it up if you have to every single time. It's important that they match. I guess you could do a design where they don't, but for my design here, I'm going to make the match. So I'll hold the chain with my finger here. As you can see, I'm holding it down with this finger so it doesn't move. And I try to even that up as much as possible with the one on the other side and crimp it. And then I'm going to add a bead to either side. I'm sorry, guys, my throat, it's really bothering me. I've had allergies. Me and the dogs had terrible allergies too. Okay, and there's your beads. Okay, now you're going to put one on top of each one and crimp it. But yeah, Sadie's had terrible allergies too. We actually, she gets a shot once a month, and she had her shot before we went to Florida. And we didn't have any trouble down in Florida, but when we got back here, she really was having allergy issues. There she comes. Hi, Sadie. And so apparently her shot did not work. She scratched so much that she literally was bleeding one night, and we were flipping out. I mean, it scared us. And so we went in and had her looked at, and they put her on a steroid. And then we have to take her back here in a couple weeks and get another allergy shot. But her allergies have been acting up, and so have mine. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to do about, let's see, it's a little more than, oh, it's right about, just a little bit more than an inch there. I'm going to do it about an inch apart. Squeeze it down and do the same on the other side. And if you make sure that your beads are even, so like these two are laying even, then it'll be kind of easy to to make sure these are even. Okay, so you just crimp it down and do the same thing. Add on a bead. So this is the way that you do the floating beads if you want to do floating beads. Okay. And then we're going to do one on top of each of these beads. And you can do as many or as few of these as you want on there. Here we go. Crimp it down. You want to crimp it tight, but you do not want to crimp it tight enough to cut your chain. Because I've actually done that, and that's very frustrating. So you want to crimp it, but don't squeeze it to the point that it's going to break your chain or cut your chain, because that's really bad when that happens. Then you have to start all over. Nobody likes to do that. Okay, so here's what we have. Next crimp bead on either side. I think one reason my throat is driving me crazy right now is because we just went to church for all 3 services today and sang. And my throat's just suffering from it right now. I shouldn't have been so enthusiastic with my singing, I guess. Okay. Try to make sure it's even. And crimp it down. Okay, next bead. Put your crimp on. All right, and crimp it. And we'll go to the next bead. And put the next crimp on. There we go. Get in there. There we go. Okay. Now, do I want to do another one? I think I do. I think I want to go up one more. So let's put a couple more on of the crimp. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm not really measuring, but they're about a little more than an inch apart. Okay. Make sure they're even. And put the bead on. I think these beads are so pretty. Alright, and a crimp on top of each one. Come on. There we go. Sometimes my fine motor skills aren't the best. And we'll go right here with this one, same thing. Okay, so there we have it. That's level 1. Now, we're going to start on the second one. So for this one, I want it to hang right about like this, probably, above this one. And so for this one, I'm going to use these fringy beads. I really like these. I think these are very cool. I hope they put them up on their website because I'd really like to order some more. I just think they're really neat. And then we're going to use some bicones. So I'm just going to string a bunch of these fringe beads on the middle part, or on the, just to the middle part down here. Just a bunch of them in a row. I'm not even going to put beads in between them or anything. Oh, that's the chain. So we worked out in the yard yesterday too, and I think that's affected my allergies. I got this great notion that I was going to landscape, you know, so I wanted to dig out this whole area and put an edging around it and put some red mulch in and really make it pretty. And so, you know, I've never done that before and I have no idea how to do it. I just decided I was going to. So I go to Lowe's and I get a bunch of landscaping stuff. So I got the edging and I got the red mulch and I got dirt, and I didn't buy any plants because we've got enough plants right now out there. I just want to landscape around what we have. So I came home and I started digging it out. Why am I having such trouble getting this on here? Maybe the hole's smaller in that one. I started digging it out, and y'all, that's hard work. My poor body is not used to that, and so I ended up with, like, so Chris was helping me. Both of us were out there, which was probably quite a sight for the neighbors. So I ended up with this big old blister right here that really hurts, and we didn't get it all dug out. So then it decided to pour the rain last night. So now there's a big muddy trench out in our front yard. And, you know, we're going to have to wait a little bit on a dry day to be able to fix it. But it is a big muddy trench. Okay, so I think that's all that I'm going to do right there, because what I'm noticing is they're scrunching up together anyway, so I don't really want to put a whole bunch more in there. In fact, I may just take a couple off. I may take 3 or 4 off, because there's no sense in wasting them, and they're kind of scrunching up on each other. So I think I will leave it like about this, and then I'm going to do a crimp bead on either side here. So I want to look and see. You know what? I'm not going to do the crimp beads because they're going to scrunch down anyway. I was going to put the crimp bead thinking it might keep them from, the bicones from scrunching down on here, but these are scrunching together anyway, so it's really not going to matter. So now I'm just going to put several bicones on both sides. And I'm going to make this second one, I don't want it to be real busy because the first one is kind of simple, so I don't really want the second one to be too complex. I think these colors are so pretty together, and I never would have thought to put grays with gold, but I really like it together, and I think it is prettier if you don't add too much to it. If you just leave it simple, I think it's very elegant and very pretty. So we're just going to do it this way. So I have 5 on the other side, so let's do 5 here. Okay. All right, so 5 and 5. Let's look at it. And it is very just simple and elegant. I think it's very pretty. I might add a couple more bicones over here. I'm going to add 2 more on this side and 2 more on the other side. Okay, so we've got 7 over there. I'm going to put 7 over here. So now we've got company coming over tomorrow night, and I was like, oh boy, the yard. So I told them it's people from our church, and they're coming over for dinner tomorrow night, and I was like, yeah, the yard's really bad, so please just be prepared and excuse it. I know it's not going to be ready by tomorrow evening. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this up. Whoop, I'm sorry, I hit the camera. Just going to hold this up and see how it looks, and I like it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach, let me move these out of the way. We're going to attach these branches. Now, these branches are not, if you flip them, you're going to have one that lays concave this way and one that lays curved that way. And I don't really want that. I think that would, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be noticeable. I guess it's probably not going to really be noticeable, but I'm afraid it would kind of be. So they're going to have to lay the same way. So I want to make sure I'm going to hook to the outside, the longer chain to the outside. But what I need to make sure is that they hang evenly, because if they don't, then my beads are not going to be even. They're going to be kind of messed up, and I don't want that. So I wanted to lay this out and just look at them together real quick before I really attach them, and just make sure. Because see, this one is up a little more from this one, and I just don't want it to mess with the look of the necklace. Okay, and it actually kind of does. So what I'm going to do is pull this one up just a little, and I'm going to trim it just a tad shorter than that one, just so that my beads hang evenly on both sides, okay? And I'm just going to check it, and when I put my clamshell on, it should hang evenly now, because I've got them both hanging side by side all the way down, and they're even. So you just have to trim this one a tad bit shorter on that side, just so it hangs evenly. And we're going to get a couple crimp beads out here. Now we need our lobsters. Okay, and we're going to put a lobster on. Put a crimp bead on. And crimp this down right at the end. You want to crimp it pretty good. Okay, pull it, make sure it's sturdy, that it's not coming off. You can put a little glue in there if you want. I didn't pull my glue out, so I'm not going to, but you could. I usually do, but I didn't pull my glue out. So I'm not going to do it right now. Put this one on, same thing on this side, in your little crimp bead. And pull it way up. Crimp it, pull it, and then come on up and crimp that down. Okay, so there's what we've got. Now we're just going to hook it on with a jump ring. Okay, so I've got my jump ring here. And I'm just going to hook it on like this. You want to make sure that your jump ring is closed up really well. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like this. All right. And there we have it. And they do hang evenly, so thankfully that worked out. Sometimes a thing does not work out, but it did. Now we're going to do the middle, and we're doing it the same exact way. So we're just going to take the 2 crimp beads, just like this, and we're going to do the same thing with our lobsters, so, or goodness, clamshells. It's an ocean creature, right? Lobster, clam, yeah, can't keep them all straight. Alright, so we'll take our crimp, put it on here. Oops. Okay, there we go. And pull this up to the top and crimp. Pull it. Close it up. Same thing on the other side. This one's bent inside out. Sometimes they do that, and you just, probably just gonna grab another one instead of trying to play with that one right now, but heck, you can fix it with your pliers. Stick this in here. And we'll go ahead and add our bead. Okay, crimp it down. And we're going to attach them. I don't wear a lot of gold. Usually I wear silver, but I really am liking the way these are turning out. I think they're really pretty. And I'm hooking these onto the bottommost little branch. Or leaf, or whatever you want to call that little thing. Oh, come on. I have a hard time sometimes with the pliers. And part of the problem is I need to turn that sideways because these are small jump rings. I like to use small jump rings. I just do. And I may actually need to get a bigger one for this because you want to make sure that it closes good. No, it's going to. It's just, I had to turn it the other way. Okay, so there that is. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Right here. And again, if you can take this and kind of lay it on your bead mat so that it sits up, it'll be easier to get the jump ring to close, because that's the way it needs to hang in there anyway. And I'll go ahead and close it up. That works. Okay, So there we have it. I really like this. It's pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to attach the chain to the sides. So it just depends on how long you want this to be. It's totally personal preference. I'm going to hold this up on me real quick and just see where it hangs, because I really don't want it to be super long. And I'm going to go ahead and take my chain, and actually I'm going to cut one of these pieces in half because I don't want it to be as long as I have cut this chain. So I'm going to take them like this, find the middle, and just cut that link. Yeah, I don't want it to be that long. I'm going to put an extender on it, so if I want to lengthen it, I could, but yeah, I don't want it to be that long. Okay, then we're just going to take jump rings. That's not a good one. That one's kind of... And we're going to attach the chain to the branch right here. Just like that. Same thing on the other side. Make sure your branches are turned the right way. I didn't do that right there. I better do that. I guess it doesn't matter when you're attaching your chain, but I just like to make sure it's all laying right when I'm putting it together. Okay. Go ahead and put this one on. My hands are shaky today, and I don't know why. I've had lunch, so I should not be shaky. Okay. All right, so there it is. Now we're going to put our lobster ring on. This is a soldered jump ring closed, so I will have to attach it with a jump ring. I like to use closed rings if possible with the lobster clasps. Just, I don't know, I'm afraid sometimes that if you use a regular jump ring, it'll pull open somehow if your necklace gets pulled on or something. And this could too right here, but it's just less likely, I feel like. Okay, here's our lobster. We're going to attach it. There it is. Okay, and then I'm going to make a small dangle, so I'm just going to take another bead, probably just a, you know what I might do? This would be kind of cute. A bicone, a fringe bead, a bicone, and another fringe bead. And they just kind of stick out the sides. The fringe beads do. That's kind of cute. And I'm just going to make a little dangle. This is just for the extender. It's not a big deal. Okay. What did I do with my extender? There it is. Okay, so the extender as well has to hook on with a jump ring because this is soldered closed chain links as well as a soldered closed ring right here. So we have to hook that on with a jump ring. And we're going to hook that on the end of the extender. And there it is. So here is our finished piece. Go ahead and clasp that. Let's see if I can get the whole thing on screen. I'm actually filming with a different camera than normal, so it kind of it seems to have a little wider of a angle here. And do I have this? Let me make sure I don't have this twisted. I don't think I do. I think I just have the, yeah, there we go. Okay. That would be bad. I didn't have them both laying the same direction. Okay, so here we go. Here's our finished necklace. It's kind of hard to get laid out on the table, but I will definitely take a picture of it on a form for the thumbnail. And there it is. I think it turned out really cute. I'm not going to do the earrings because this video is already 35 minutes, so I'll do the earrings in another video. But here's the necklace, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope, you know, you grab your stuff and make something, whatever you want to do, however you want to make it a variation or however you'd like to do it. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will have some more from this month's Bargain Bead Box coming up. And like I said, if you want to subscribe to Bargain Bead Box, I'll have a link in the description box below with a coupon code for $2 off your first box. So you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.